What's going on? My name is Cole Connor. Today I'm going to tell you 8 ways to break into a brand new market as a photographer, specifically a real estate photographer. Let's get into it. What's going on? My name is Cole Connor. I'm an artist and entrepreneur, and I was put here to do 2 things: create and inspire. Thanks for being here. Let's get into it. In 2021, I moved to Los Angeles, one of the biggest, most competitive, creative cities, to pursue my dreams, all the way from South Carolina. Back in South Carolina, I had a real estate photography business. I quickly learned in LA I was going to have to start another one. So I did. A year and a half later, through the many ups and downs, I feel like I have stabilized slightly. I'm able to make a decent income, survivable. I can even do some fun stuff too. I learned a lot along the way, and I believe these things can help you and almost anyone else break into a new market. Before you move, or right when you move, check out job listings for real estate photographers. And I say this is for photographers too because it's the same concept, just whatever your niche is. I call them photo mills. So companies that have cities and locations all across the US who hire photographers for cheap, specifically real estate photographers, I call them photo mills. So they don't pay you that well and you don't really have that much of a personal relationship with them. But I found that they're a great way to start meeting people, start building some income where you don't have to do Uber Eats or be a server or some sort of side hustler. You can actually make decent money if you're working part-time or even full-time for one of these companies. You may find that you like working with them a lot because usually you don't have to do any of the editing. You just go meet the client, you do the shoot, and you go home. And for a lot of people, that can be all you do until you do what you actually want to do. Over the year and a half, I think I've worked for 5 different real estate photo companies, and I currently work for 3. I've added some and dropped some along the year and a half just because some of them were just too cheap for me. Some of them were annoying, or all their clients were a certain type and I just didn't feel like it was worth it. The 3 that I work with now, one of them I barely work with at all. One of them I work with a little bit more, and then one of them I work with pretty consistently. So it's just nice to find the ones where you fit in the most, whether it's the people, the pay, the types of clients they have, etc. It makes a difference, but I highly recommend starting there. Work with your competition. I've said this before in other videos, and it may not always work out for you, but at the very minimum, meet and talk with your competition, because most likely, especially if you're moving to a big city, there's just so many houses to shoot, and there's some people who are running the game. So if you just start to connect with them, most likely people have work that they want to pass off, or they want to work with nice people who are on the come up, who are learning and nice and professional. If you can be those things, your competition will like you. I've probably met up with 3 different real estate photographers in LA and South Carolina. I've met up with my competition before. There's nothing wrong with it, and most likely it'll benefit you in the long run. Honestly, when it comes to working with other companies, I love working with the people who some consider competition, when it's really just your peers. It's your people who do what you do. You kind of want to work together so you have this community of people. It's like a union almost, where you don't charge too low. You take care of each other. You look out for each other. You send stuff when you're busy. You want to start to create those relationships because they're important. And you don't want photo mills to kind of run your city. You want real local people to run your city, and that helps build that. Joining the Chamber of Commerce. About a year in, I joined the Silver Lake Chamber of Commerce, and I've met several people. Or actually, how many have I met? I've met and sent a couple messages from the Chamber of Commerce, but mostly I haven't taken advantage of it like I should. But I was just so happy to meet one client, one really cool client of mine from the Silver Lake Chamber of Commerce. So I highly recommend just joining something like that, or a BNI network group. It is kind of annoying sometimes, but it helps. And networking is what it's about. Relationships is what it's about. Gotta do it. Cold emailing. What I do is I have a bunch of agents' emails, and I send out weekly or monthly emails. And yes, I have gotten several clients from that. It's just a numbers game. How many do you want to send out? How many different emails do you want to type up? Eventually, you'll hit some people at the right day when their photographer isn't doing what they want or whatever it is, or they'll want to switch it up. So you just got to be there when that happens. Thumbtack. I've talked about Thumbtack before. I have ups and downs with it. The bottom line is in 2021, 2022, Thumbtack did really help me grow my business. In South Carolina, it helped me as well. Currently, it's not helping me very much, so you really have to find out if it's worth the money for you. For me, I actually just turned it off again because I felt like I'd gotten so many duds in a row. It just wasn't really worth it. But yeah, check out my videos on Thumbtack. I'll link them somewhere around here. It might be a good fit. My website. It's so important to have a good website as a business owner. It's my personal opinion. I've seen a ton of people talk about how you don't need a website. I think that you do need a website, and I think it helps your SEO, and I think it helps people legitimize your business, especially if it looks good and you have your best work on there. I have gotten thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of work just in the past year and a half because of my website. I had someone write an article about my photography company saying I was the #2 best one. Because they saw my website and it seemed like I had been here for a long time and that I've been doing all this awesome work for a long time because that's the picture that I painted. It's really important. I've had inquiries for photo and video come through on my website. I've had marketing agencies reach out to me because they found my website through Google. Don't pay someone to do it, is my opinion. Just learn how to do it so that way you can do it and take care of it yourself. And associated with your website and your SEO is Google My Business, which I've talked about also a million times, and I've also gotten tons of clients from Google My Business. Just set it up, make sure it looks good, link your website, link your phone number. That's going to help with your SEO. Don't skip it. Last thing for me, outside of just referrals from clients that I've been making or just contacts that I meet randomly, is Instagram. So I treat, as a real estate photographer, especially in Los Angeles, Instagram, I try to treat it pretty seriously. I could treat it more seriously, and sometimes I wish I would, but it is a time-consuming process. I know people even hire like virtual assistants to help market themselves on Instagram, which I'm also considering doing because you can hire some people for so cheap just to kind of send out messages and things like that. What I do is when I send out emails, I look at who has opened my emails, then I follow those people on Instagram, I like some of their photos, and I just kind of stay in touch every day for a couple minutes a day. I go on, I like people's stuff, I comment, I send messages if I feel like it's someone who really, or we would just vibe well together, because I think that's a big part of it. I think you need to find the client, like find your tribe of clients, as corny as that might sound. But clients have come through just on Instagram because my page is set up professional, just like my website. I look legit. You want to look as legitimate as possible while being authentic and having good work. All right, so those are the ways that I broke into a new market in Los Angeles as a real estate photographer. I think it goes for photographers as well. I hope this helps. If you have any additional questions, please let me know. More content is on the way. Thank you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. I'll catch you next time. Peace. Oh, and of course, I've gotten clients from making YouTube videos. It's the truth. Yeah. Back with a vengeance. No cap, homie, that's what revenge is. I'm a cool cat, but I'm stuck in a race with a motherfucking rat in a pension. Fucking at or a mention. Me and Fat Rat, you be back in the kitchen. Young soda, master splinter, mathematicians back in